Louisiana Beer Reviews looks at Enki Brewing Cacao Porter, handcrafted in Victoria, Minnesota. Now, the website is saying 7% alcohol, but here right on the bottle is saying 6.4% and 24 IBUs. So obviously it was adjusted at some point. I was looking at the website and they were talking about how they were founded in 2012. And he said, and now a few months later we're doing it. We're doing the beer brewing. So I'm thinking you must have not updated your website. Same IBU. So it's pretty obvious they have adjusted the alcohol. It's raining hard outside. I was walking. I had to stop. I'll try to finish later. This was sent to me by Dan of Minnesota. Man, this guy sent me some awesome stuff. So I have people that watch the videos and they say, how about if I send you all this? And I'm going to say yes. Now, I do have companies that send me stuff. And I'll tell you, the company sent it to me and I don't want it to influence my review. One thing I was wondering about, I said, I wonder if the company doesn't want to say they sent me a beer, and so they'll get somebody as a stand-in for them and say, oh, hi, I'm Joe from Nebraska. Would you like to review these Nebraska beers? That way they can have deniability, like we didn't send him that beer. Some guy named Joe from Nebraska. And that could be the case, but then I wouldn't know about it. I would just presume it was some independent person. And so there would be no chance that I could be influenced by the company, although it is free beer. I understand when they send it to me. It says 7/1/15. Okay, so it must be July 15th, 2015. I'm thinking that's the stamped on date. I don't even know where Victoria, Minnesota is. I know where Victoria, Texas is. That's between Houston and the Mexican border, and I've been there. My father went there one time working for DuPont, and he was telling me, there was nothing but Mexicans over there. I said, okay, that makes sense. He didn't say that in a negative way, he just was remarking about it. That it was like, oh, that's really something. I don't know what he expected. He flew to Victoria, and then one time they flew him to Wilmington. They went to eat some steak dinner at some famous place in Philadelphia. I can't remember the name of that place, but he kept bragging about it. There are no video reviews for this beer, okay? Because it's so obscure, I guess. And I looked on Rate Beer and Beer Advocate. Neither site had enough reviews, written reviews, to even get to 10 to have a score. So this is the first video review for this beer in the world. Cacao. I was reading about that years ago, and they said it's supposed to be cocoa, right? That's the cocoa beans, the chocolate bean. And they had this British explorer down in Africa, and he was writing about, oh, I found these cocoa plants, and he wrote back to England, but he didn't know how to spell it, and he spelled it cacao, but he was trying to spell it cocoa. And so they said that's how the name became cacao beans. It was just like a misspelling. It should be C-A-C-O-A, cocoa beans. But anyway, these things happen sometime in geographical exploration. Like the name Indians, because Columbus thought he was off the coast of India, or in the East Indies Islands, or the Indies Islands, Indonesia we would call it today. It does smell. Now, I don't know what the ingredients are. They just said on the website, oh, it's really good. Makes sense. It smells like maybe cocoa beans and some coffee beans and some really roasted malt. It's like a black appearance. Usually you pick up a little brown. Okay, with the light coming through here, I do pick up the reddish brown at the bottom. All right. It smells great. It looks really nice. Let's check it out. 22-ounce bottle. It is good. There is just coffee, chocolate. They must put chocolate in this. I would think dark And they were talking about on their website, you know how your grandma used to make semi-sweet chocolate cookies? Actually, I don't recall either grandmother ever making a cookie. Really, actually making cookies. Other food, but not that. So I don't remember that. But it's like maybe those Nestle Baker's cookies that you would get at a store, the semi-sweet or unsweetened. Maybe coffee beans, dark roasted coffee, not a lot. Cream. Bread crust, you know, from the malts, the breadiness. Sweet cream, I guess you would say. The mouthfeel is medium. It's not even high medium. It's just like medium. You can pick up a little water in it. So it's not a heavy beer. A lot of people don't mess with stouts or porters like this, or stout porters, because they'll say, oh, it's going to be too thick, you know. But they usually really aren't. They're just dark looking. They're not so thick in the body. Semi-dry. The drinkability is great. Maybe 6.4 was a better ABV than 7 anyway. So, I mean, this beer is all around so wonderful. And it's a great beer that you've never heard of, probably. I would have to give it an A+. Now, some people are going to say, you did Pliny the Elder and you only gave that an A. Yeah, that's true. That was given to me also, but I'm not disparaging Pliny the Elder. If you see it, I would definitely recommend buying it, but then I could name 35 more IPAs that you should buy also. But, you know, I don't want to just get up here and lie and say, well, everybody's saying such and such is world class. I kind of need to do that so I could stay in the game. It's not about that. It's just about reviewing it, and talking about it, and giving your impression of it. And my impression of this and the other ones is very favorable. And some people will say, well, I notice most of the time you're always giving good scores for beers. And I think that's because most of the time I'm drinking good beers. Most of the beers you buy, even if they're ordinary beers like Schmidt's or Olympia, they're usually good. Oh, you can find some bad ones now. Luckily, that's not usually the case. So, I mean, it's nice when you can just drink one beer after the other and they're like either good or really good or excellent or most excellent or world class. That's not, to me, a downside. So, now you might say, yeah, but what's the point of even doing video reviews if they're all like mostly good? Why even watch it? Just go out and buy them and drink them. Yeah, I can't really argue with that point. So I watched the video reviews. You say, but why? I don't know. It's just interesting to see what people say about it, even though most of the time it's positive. So I don't know. I can't explain it. It's not necessary. So Laissez Le Bon Temps Relais, an outstanding porter, and that's a style admittedly I adore. You know, sorry. It's got carbonation. I'm going to end this review by saying, y'all come on down to New Orleans.